Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to episode 6 now of the League 2 Hour, which is quite frankly astonishing that we've already done half a dozen of these. And of course, I'm joined by my good friend Lee from around the grounds, who is now back into the swing of things in terms of his channel, which is great to see. Lee, another jam-packed weekend to get stuck into, mate.
Yeah, it's always good, especially League 2 just carries on going along with the rubbish international weekend. The League 2 just ticks along, and it's always nice to cover it, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. And it's just another reason why people like us do these type of shows, because ITV decided that it weren't worth doing a highlights programme this week for League 1 and 2. So if the Championship's not there, we just forget the bottom 2 division, which is frankly appalling, isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't even notice till, because obviously I don't usually watch it on a Saturday night. I either watch it on a Sunday or maybe Monday and pick it up before. And I noticed someone I think it was Jonathan actually. He commented, and a few had rightly so had obviously tweeted about it. Yeah, it's just a shambles. Just put, even if you put it on a different channel on ITV, we've got bloody 4 or 5 now, haven't they?
Yeah.
So it's just stupid.
Yeah, I'm sure you can find an hour somewhere, or even 45 minutes, and do 20 minutes per division. But such is life down at the bottom. But anyway, the show does go on YouTube from us too. So let's have a look at some comments, and then we will get into the first of 4 feature games. Andy Burns, Gillingham fan, says, "Evening all." Evening, Andy. Hayden, the Gills supporter, says it's 7. Yeah, sorry, it was a little bit late, mate. Technical gremlins this morning, unfortunately.
It's 7.
It's still not loading for anyone. Late. Yep, okay. Ava's in the chat and says, "Up the Gills, they're top of the league." Ava's my daughter, for anyone that's not worked that out just yet, who comes to all games with me, yeah, and she's enjoying us being top as much as I am. Justin Richards says, "Waiting almost as long as Matt Clark did to take the penalty. Where is Vokesy when you need him to take the heat off?" Yeah, apologies, mate. Like I say, technical gremlins. Luca Talks Don says, "Big up." Richard, that's mad, has said hello.
Evening.
Oldham fan Dom is in the chat. Evening, gents. Dom will be a lot more cock-a-hoop this week than he was last week. Bradford fan we've got in the chat, Neil, which is great to see a League fan. Evening, Liam, Matt. Hello, mate. Hope you're good. Gary Myers, another happy Gills fan. Evening, lads. Luca MK Don says, "What's happened to MK Dons? Is this start when they start to go downhill?" We'll have a look at them in a little while, mate. Wayne Tomlinson, Grimsby fan. "Hi, guys. The Mariners are back." Yeah, we'll get to them. I think that may be one of Lee's feature games, not to give too much away. Nick Castleton, "Hi, lads. Been looking forward to this all day." Good, that's what we want. There's 43 of you in the chat already, which is absolutely brilliant. And I'll say it before Lee says it this week. Please press like as much as you can. Spam that like button, because it really helps the live stream. We got Harry saying, "Evening, gents."
I'm always keen to smash that like button, Matt, don't you?
Absolutely, we do like smashing the like button. If you can hear some light singing in the background, it is a pigeon sitting on top of Lee's mountain claim. So do not despair, it's not one of us. Everybody loves the show. Liam Welby says, "Evening, lads. How are you?" Very well, thank you, mate.
Good, mate.
Luca asks about Grimsby. Yeah, we'll get to them as well, mate. Do not panic. Gary says Ava's a little legend. Yeah, I think she's all right, mate, to be fair. And David Ongley puts Gills, Swindon and Grimsby for the title. Not sure they can all win the title, my friend, but it'd be nice if that's the top 3. I would take that in any order, I won't lie. Richard, that's mad, says, "Playing Notts County Saturday, McGoldrick." McGoldrick doesn't play for him, mate, so that won't be a problem. He's at Barnsley now.
Yeah, what I missed it then. Has he gone back?
Never mind. Keep up with the transfer chat, my friend. Evening, gents. Love being top. One more game to level our best start for a season for many moons. Another Gills fan. Neil says we look all intelligent in our specs, so
No,
it's not
we
a case of
don't.
intelligent, mate. We're just both blind.
Yeah, that's what these off and be like, I couldn't read them comments.
Otherwise, we'd be like that.
Yeah.
And no one wants to see my face that close for an hour.
Yeah. My short vision is gone.
It's awful. Yeah, mine's absolutely shocking. On back saying, so Mickey Mellon bringing in Prince Michael to do the job. Yes, we will get to them shortly. And hello to the pigeon, says Matt, GFC 1977. So we've already got a ready-made replacement for if one of us goes down. So it's all good.
Yeah. And that pigeon's just smashed the light button, so you.
It's 41. We're up still over 40. So if the pigeon's one of them, happy days. Right, let's do first feature game of the week, which I think was one of mine, Lee, which was Newport County 2, Bristol Rovers 3, which was one of 2 live games at the weekend. So Sky were doing their bit and getting some coverage. And yeah, I think I took 2. I took both of the live games, didn't I, for the feature matches this week? Not to give too much away, but yeah, this ended up being a game that looked a lot closer than it should have been, I think, after about 70 minutes, because Newport County were absolutely woeful for the first hour or so. Even though they had the first chance, I think it was Kieran Brennan forced a good save from Brad Young, who was in goal for Bristol Rovers on Saturday. I'm assuming Southwood was either injured or international call-up of some description. And then there was a half chance for Macaulay Southern-Mays, who scored that absolute belter last week. But Nick Gazanev was alert for that one. But in the second half, Rovers took over. And, yeah, like I say, Newport were just really, really poor. I think the first goal came from Luke Thomas. There was a load of pinball in the box, and he managed to bundle it home from basically on the line. He then thought he'd scored again. Nick Zanev took ages clearing the ball. It hit Thomas, and he managed to roll it in, but it was disallowed for handball. But unfortunately for the Amber Army, their keeper didn't learn and then took ages to pass it out from the back again, which allowed Thomas to nick his second of the afternoon. And 2 became 3 when new signing Alfie Chang's cross was nodded in by Ellis Harrison. Again, Zanev probably should have done better. He had an absolute shocking afternoon, the New Zealand goalkeeper. And at 3-0 after 70 minutes, mate, this one looked like it was dead and buried, didn't it? And another really poor performance from Newport. Late goals from Kai Whitmore, I think it was, and Nathaniel Apoku gave the scoreline a more reasonable feel from a Newport point of view. But yeah, it felt like Gas were holding on in a game that they should have won at an absolute canter, which was a strange thing. But it's been a poor start for Newport, hasn't it? Really, really concerning signs at the moment for them.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at the league table, obviously third bottom already, and they've only won 1. But yeah, I think Darryl Clark will be absolutely fuming. Obviously cruising at 3-0 up. You don't want to be then. I think they scored 89th minute. Don't know what were added on, but I imagine Newport probably went for that equaliser. So it were a nervy ending when it really shouldn't have been for the Bristol Rovers fans. Like I say, when you go 3-0, you should be in cruise control and not give a sniff to the opposition, which another game that we'll be covering shortly, like you said, not to give too much away. But yeah, it's one of them where I think Newport were a lot of talk again, like a couple of clubs that we've mentioned in the past episodes that you envisioned are going to struggle this year. That is for sure.
Yeah, and for Bristol Rovers, despite nearly throwing away a 3-goal lead, I think that's the 3 wins on the spin now. So they're starting to look the part, aren't they? Yeah. Under Darryl Clark, and he's certainly, I think we said it last week, he's starting to get them to look like he wants them to look like. So yeah, ominous signs for anyone that's maybe playing them in the next couple of weeks, because they're starting to hit their straps, Bristol Rovers. So 2 teams going in different directions at the moment. Do you want to talk about your first feature game, mate, which I believe was Cambridge United against Oldham Athletic?
Yep. So Oldham finally get that win after promotion. It's been a frustrating few games for them. Obviously, they've played well, created chances. Going to Cambridge were never going to be easy. And we mentioned last week against Gills, you feel that they had that. If they had that striker, they'd maybe drew the game, or if not better, got 3 points. And new signing, son, Mickey Mellon Jr. comes on. Well, not comes on, but starts. and he gets a massive 3 points for Oldham, and it's just what they needed. Like I say, they were missing that striker. Obviously, Quigley were suspended. I think some of the previous game, I don't know what's gone on there. I think it's one of them where it's been backdated. Not quite sure what's happened. But yeah, Mickey Mellon scoring the winner, 21st minute. Really well worked goal. Obviously, Cambridge try and play out, and Oldham get the press on them and work it out wide. And yeah, it's a really well worked goal. Pulled it back, and Mellon is just a tap in. It's his bread and butter, really, and it's probably what Oldham have really been missing. That clinical striker, box striker that's going to take these chances. Because, like I said, they've created the chances. Obviously, I watched it against Gills. I've watched a few games on telly. They are creating them chances. They're just not putting it to bed. And obviously, to get that striker in, it's massive. It's such a weight off the rest of the team as well. If you've got a striker that you can rely on, it's just going to get these goals. And yeah, Oldham can now kick on. No doubt about that. 'Cause we've said that I don't think they'll struggle. Whether they'll push for a playoff push remains to be seen. But I think this season, if you just stabilise off, obviously after promotion last year, I think that should be the aim. We've said this a couple of times on the show. I think that's got to be the aim this season, and then kick on from there next season. Cambridge's best chance probably come from Aprea, is it? He does really well. Yeah, he does really well, and I think it's a clearance off the line. I think that's their best chance. But yeah, credit to Oldham to go to Cambridge and get 3 points. It's certainly needed, that is for sure.
Absolutely, and I think they had another couple of chances in the game as well, didn't they? Yeah, but they look really good, and like you say, that difference that Mellon makes, just because no disrespect to the others, but maybe a Fondop or a Quigley don't get into that type of area and anticipate the ball being there for that cutback. Quigley brings a lot of sort of strengths, doesn't he? He can play back to goal, he can link the play, but I've never thought of him as a natural goal scorer. And Fondop's start to the season indicates that maybe last season was something of a blip in terms of the numbers that he got, because he's never scored loads throughout his career. But yeah, if you can get one of them playing with Mellon, then I think they're going to be absolutely fine. And yeah, I left Dom's comment up for a little bit longer. I'm sure him and any other Oldham fans are going to be absolutely over the moon, because we said last week, you don't want that first win taking too long, because then it becomes an issue and a bit of a monkey off the back now, isn't it? So they can kick on. Cambridge have had a solid enough start, but they look a mid-table side, I think.
Yeah. I think we're touching on Quigley and Fondop. I think now that they've sort of probably know that Mellon's going to be that man. Mellon likes to play two up top. I think the competition that they're going to have maybe will push them on. Obviously, there's going to be that one spot to play alongside Mellon. It might get more out of them. Because obviously, if you know you're going to start, your game levels are sort of going to drop. So now that they know they're going to be playing for that starting berth, obviously Quigley, I think he's out for 2 games, so it's down to Fondop to grab it by the scruff of the neck, that is for sure. But I think Fondop, for me, is an impact player coming off the bench. He's going to run, put a shift in, and if you're behind, you're chasing a goal, he's ideal to bring off the bench. So I think what it'll be Quigley and Mellon when Quigley's back.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see, but Fondop's got the shirt, hasn't he? And you can't imagine them making a change next weekend, apart from for injuries, because they've won the game with them two starting together. So it's up to Fondop now, I guess, isn't it, to put in another performance that keeps him in the side. Right, let's have a look at some more comments. David Ongley says, hate to say it as a Gills fan, but Swindon looking good yet. Can't disagree. We'll have a little chat about Swindon when we do the classified results. Just a quick comment from Neil, the Bradford fan. Rovers. This was the game you was at, weren't it, Lee? In League One, Rovers against Bradford. Rovers were struggling at 3-0, and then the last 15 minutes they nearly threw it away. Fingers crossed we can talk about some League One sides next season. I think we've just, Hayden, the Gills supporters, puts Mickey Mellon thoughts. I think we've just discussed both Mickey Mellon and Michael Mellon there, mate. So hopefully that covers that for you. And Dom, just to clear that up about Quigley's absence, apparently he said something to someone in the stand which landed in a 2-game ban. Yeah, that was against Bristol Rovers, I think, wasn't it? Yeah, so everything's on camera and everything's on a microphone now. Gary Marskoff says, who is Michael Mellon on loan from? I think it's Burnley in the Premier League, mate.
Burnley, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Dom said on loan from Burnley, which is great. We should be scoring from what we've heard from them. I'm not sure what that comment's related to from Richard. If you can give some context to that one, mate, that would be brilliant.
Yeah,
Stephen Udall says... I think
he was on loan at Bradford last year, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he had a really good spell at Morecambe 2 years ago, didn't he? Where he got about 17 or 18 in the league. So yeah, he's got form at this level. And you keep him fit, and I think he'd get you 10 goals. So Stephen Udall says, "Evening lads, hope you're okay." Yeah, Dom just clearing up Quigley again. 2-game ban, like Lee alluded to, so he's going to miss this Saturday coming. Stephen says, "Smash the like button." Yeah, please do that. We're up to over 40 still in the chat. If we can get to 50, that would be absolutely brilliant. Ashley Neal says, "Love the content, lads, but loving the Gills that little bit more. Up the Gills." Absolutely, mate. We will get to our game. Actually, that is a nice segue into it, because my second feature game this week was going to be nothing other than Bromley 2, Gillingham 2. And absolutely, before I get Lee into sort of the whys and wherefores of the game and how we got to 2-2 and the decisions and all that type of thing, and you'll back me up on this, and this is why we do this stuff. What an absolutely bloody brilliant advert for League Two football that was. Live on the box at dinner time between two sides unbeaten, who just went hammer and tongs at it for 98, 99, 100 minutes. As a neutral, absolutely astonishing football match.
Before you start, the one comment I read, it was either today or yesterday, and someone put, "Go on, bloody watching England v Andorra, it's boring. Sod that, I'm turning it off. Bromley v Gills, it's class." Summed it up.
This is it, and this is why we champion lower league football.
Yeah.
Whether it's League One, League Two, National League, that Lee covers brilliantly, whether it's my football club, Gillingham, and everything about League Two. There's some proper good games down there. There's some proper good footballers. If you think you're going to watch it and they're going to be Premier League standard and they're going to be 9 out of 10 every week, you're going to get the ump. But for community feel, a load of connectivity, decent atmosphere, a reasonable price, you can't beat it, can you?
No, it's big advocate for it. Like I said, I think top level football's died off. And if you're a Premier League or a Championship, I still love the Championship. I think it's still got that good feel about it. Everyone beat everyone. But if you're a Premier League fan and you have these international breaks, I advise you wholeheartedly to go and just take in a League One game, League Two game, National League game, even lower, or just go and support your local non-league. Because trust me, you will not look back, because you'll just fall in love with it and just see what football was like in the Premier League, like in the 90s when I was growing up. It was absolutely brilliant, and what it should be. Teams going hammer and tong for it, proper atmospheres. You're just meant to feel welcome when you're at a football ground, and that's what I absolutely love.
Absolutely. And talking of hammer and tongs, it's fair to say that Bromley come out of the blocks really quickly, and they went hammer and tongs at our back 5 in the first 15 minutes. I said on my review show, it was just a really open game from the off. We had a half chance with Elliot Nevitt blazed one over. We then switch off twice, and you cannot switch off against people like Michael Cheek. You can't switch off against people like Nicky Kabamba at the moment, who's in great form. First goal's a good finish. Ball gets played long, direct. That's what Bromley do, and they do it bloody well. And I think Ainsworth said afterwards, if you go there and you try and out-battle Bromley, you're going to come up short, so you have to find different ways. And yeah, Michael Cheek wins the first contact, and it's a really good finish from Kabamba, to be fair, but I think defensively we can do better. We can do better for the second goal as well. We just let the lad Otto just run and run from his own half. Worst player in the world, or at least worst player in League Two, you want to be winning the first contact for a header in the 6-yard box, is Michael Cheek. And in a flash, we were 2-0 down, and we're thinking, Christ, this is going to be a long evening here. There's only 15 minutes gone, and we're already 2 behind. Could have been 3. Glenn Moritz makes a save from Kabamba. The rebound gets cleared off the line. We have a couple of half chances. Johnny Williams. has a drive just wide. I think who was the other one? Oh, Josh Andrews missed a really good chance just before half-time, one-on-one. Doesn't do enough with it, unfortunately. Second half, though, I thought we were superb. I get we gave up chances because we had to be open. Even back at 2-1 after 56 minutes, you're chasing the game, so you're going to give chances to Cheek, who's hit a post. He's had another one off the line. He could have had 4 on the day. But the resilience that this Gillingham group show at the moment is absolutely brilliant to see. And we get our not bit of luck. Some people in the ground, and I think I was of that sort of assumption as well, said that Josh Andrews is just trying to flick on that long throw. But I actually think he's gone for the corner, looking at the replays on the highlights, and it's a really good header. He'd already missed a good chance before then when he should have scored. Nevitt had had one saved, and you're thinking, right, now you've got to stay in the game. I think we brought on 4 subs in the space of about 3 or 4 minutes, didn't we? And I said it, I think maybe this is what got us over the line in terms of rescuing a point, is if you're in a position where you can bring on Gareth McCleary, Johnny Smith, Sam Vokes, Aaron Rowe with 20 minutes to play, you're going to give yourselves a chance in games. I'm going to ask you, I think I know your answer, penalty, no, or definitely not.
No, I think I've one of the worst penalty decisions I've seen, but you get them, but you also get them against you. I think you'll probably get one where you think, bloody hell, why does he give that? It's going to level out over the season. But
there was one in the first half where I think it was Andy Smith was being held onto for ages, and they say if the defender keeps hold of the shirt for enough time, it should be a penalty. So we could have had one then.
Yeah,
but it's never a penalty in a million years on McCleary.
No. The more you watch it, you're like, but I can sort of see where the angle where he is running, because obviously the keeper and the defender, and then you could sort of see why he's give it. I'm trying to give him an explanation why he's give it, to be fair, but yeah, it's one of them you've just got to take it, mate, because it'll level out where you'll get a decision and you'll think, bloody hell, that was that Bromley decision.
I think we're due one because the first penalty against Chesterfield was an absolute shocker as well.
On your first goal, though, definitely can see what he's trying to do from your angle, from your vlog, watching it. Mm-hmm. You can see where he angles his head. He
just makes that run round the centre half, doesn't he, as well, just to create that space,
Yeah, and it's great move, great striking movement, and yeah, you can see what he's trying to do, and yeah, obviously that's his first goal now. It's going to be massive for him.
First goal of the season, yeah, and like I say, probably the hardest chance he had all afternoon. He should bury the header before that. He should bury the one-on-one first half. But so pleased for him because he's had so many injury problems, and I've said for so long he's been a waste of time. Like, what's the point? He's like, where do you cut your losses? But he's played in every single game so far, apart from the league trophy, and he's deserved that goal, I think, based on his performances in the first sort of 5-6 weeks of the season. So pleased for him, and let's hope we can keep him fit all season. But that wasn't the end of the drama, was it? Grant Smith, the Bromley keeper, had treatment for what felt like about 3 weeks, stood in the ground.
Yeah.
How clever is Sam Vokes? Like, to the point where you think he's definitely going to take the spot kick. Astonishing stuff and brilliant experience from Sam Vokes to just keep Max Clark away from it all, wasn't it?
Just about to say, it's experience, and that's the difference with the signings. It's the experience. Obviously, you got McCleary as well coming in now. Sometimes it just needs that, just because if he's standing there, Max Clark taking it for 3 minutes, everything's going through your mind, and just like he could swap places where he's going to hit it, bloody 3 or 4 times. But time he gaps, he steps up to take the penalty. But yeah, it's experience, and that's what it needs in a squad. You've got to have that balance of youth and experience, especially when you striving for promotion. It's going to be key, and yeah, it's massive for him.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, he scored a couple of good penalties for us last year, Max Clark, and we know that Ainsworth loves a penalty taking left back. He had Joe Jacobson for Wickham, so fingers crossed we can replicate that. But just one last question for you before we move on to the last feature game is, there was only sort of 3,000 just over in that ground. That felt like double that. The noise in that ground from both sets of supporters was really, really good. I really enjoyed that. That's one of my favourite away days in recent years. So good. I know it helps that we equalised in the last minute. Probably wouldn't have said so much if we'd lost 2-1, but I just thought the noise from both sets of supporters was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, obviously, I've watched the highlights. Obviously, I was travelling back from my game, and I got a playoff like first leg, second leg sort of vibe from it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That playoff, and yeah, we've said I think atmospheres. I think they've improved. I think tenfold, especially in League Two. You've covered League Two for some time. I've covered League Two because I actually love the division, and yeah, the atmosphere absolutely on point. Especially to say they've still got that stand that they.
Yeah, it's going to be a really nice little ground once that's all sorted.
Yeah.
That'll be really good, and it'll keep the noise in as well. I think as well, which would be brilliant. It's just a proper football ground. I love the little football grounds like that. We know, the modern day stadia are brilliant for what they provide in terms of facilities, but I still don't think you can beat proper little football grounds. Not the wrap round bowls. Hillsborough, I always say, is a proper football ground. Fratton Park for the bigger ones, but yeah, Valley Parade that we've been to in Bradford recently, and there's some really good football grounds in the lower leagues as well, and I think it's another thing that we need to sort of advertise.
Yeah, you want character for a football ground, don't you? Not, I think West Ham's ground. I think that's probably one of the worst in countries for.
Yeah, like I say, it was great facilities, and for what it served a purpose back when the Olympics, wasn't it? But yeah, it's a million miles away from the pitch.
Yeah.
Sound just goes straight out the top. No fun at all. Right, back to the comments, and then we will do your second feature game, my friend. David Ongley says, great game. Never a pen, but we never give up. Yeah, and I think you earn a bit of luck sometimes, but yeah, we've certainly had a couple of fairly substantial slices of it recently. Neil says the rock star has got the Gills dancing to his tune. Serial promotion manager that will get the Gills into League One for next season. In my opinion, I hope you're right, Neil. I really do. But I'm still not going to sit here and say, yes, we are title contenders or promotion contenders, because I've been here in August and September for the last 3 years.
I've got a question for you. So, in comparison, I don't know where you were at this stage of the season. I were only in bloody first week of September, but do you see a difference in this squad to last season at this stage of the season?
I see a mentality shift. And I said walking out the ground Saturday, that's a game that we get beat 3-4-0 last season or the season before. So then you have that first challenge would be, right, how do we react to one defeat? And then last season, we all know that we were top at the end of September. We beat Barrow and went to the summit. We then lost to Grimsby on the Tuesday, and everyone it was an all right performance. We've got beat, never mind. Before you know it, you've won once in 15, and that's where we've got to change, because we know we're going to get beat at some point. So that will be the real acid test, how we react to a blip, or at least what we hope's a blip. But yeah, I mean, we were talking on the coach on the way back. No one could answer when was the last time Gills came from 2-0 down to get something out of a football match. Like, I'm still racking my brains now, and that's sort of 48 hours later. And then you add that to the people like, and I've already said it on previous episodes, Bradley Dack being fully fit, Ethan Coleman being fully fit, experience and leadership of people like Sam Vokes and Gareth McCleary at 35 and 38. The fact that we're strong defensively and there's no real sign of that changing. We conceded 2 at the weekend, I get that, but we're rock solid defensively. You then got people like Aaron Rowe and Johnny Smith chucked into the mix now. I said for the first time on Saturday, there's chances for McCleary where he wins the penalty, and there's a chance for Johnny Smith just before that. We look like a team all of a sudden that could play through sides and run beyond backlines, and we've not had that for too long. So yes, I'm being massively cautious still, mate, because I've been here before and I've been bitten on the arse far too many times as a Gills fan. But yeah, we're going to win the... No, don't say it. But no, it feels different. A few people have said it feels like 2012-13 when we went up as champions. Ainsworth knows what he's doing, and I'm quietly optimistic, but we'll leave it there for now. I don't want to jinx it.
Yeah, you sort of get a grasp of the word character. I think if you're going to go and get promoted or win the league, it's a massive word. It's character, because you can, like, watch you older, but you didn't play very well, but you showed character that you went on and won the game, when probably last season you wouldn't have won that. You would have probably gone home losing the game. I know Oldham missed a few chances themselves, but yeah, it's about having character to go and, because you can be the best team, but if you haven't got grit and determination from being 2-0 down at a tough place.
It's pointless. It doesn't mean anything. You have all the talent in the world, but if you haven't got that backbone, then as soon as you concede the first goal, you're done. Yeah.
And it's the old cliche. You don't mind getting beat, but it's just have a go type thing. Don't just roll over and have your bellies tickled, and just have a go. And I could definitely see difference to Gills this season. Having watched.
We were talking in the ground and said at 2-0, let's have a go. If we get beat 3-0, 3-1, having a right go second half, then fair enough. But don't just let this drift from 2-0 to the final whistle, which we did.
Yeah.
Did
he tweak anything at half time?
No, he did nothing. He left them go out there. It was first change come after the first goal, I think, and that was enforced because I think Ethan Coleman picked up a groin problem. So no, he trusted them players to go out there and get themselves out of the hole, which they did to a degree, and we were much better. Yep.
Yeah, which the word character comes into play massively.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And we showed plenty of minerals, yeah, absolutely. So quietly optimistic. Right, back to the comments, and then we will do your second feature game, which was another absolute belter. Richard, that's mad, is next. He says, I think Billy Sharp is the best striker in League Two. What about you? I think he's decent in League One, mate. Because Doncaster in League One now. But yeah, I think if he was in League Two, he'd be very, very good. Lucas says, problem is, do you think spending cash on players, big characters, players for MK Dons is one reason you can't get promoted if you overspend? Big names like Aaron Collins, Patterson, Mendes, Lang. Lee, I'm going to let you answer this one, and then we can segue that naturally, so it looks like we know what we're doing, into your second feature game. Yeah,
so I'll touch on that at the end, because MK are on a little bit of a sticky run. So Grimsby back to winning ways after defeat. After the heroics against Manchester United, was it a 1-0 loss against Bristol Rovers?
Yes, it was last weekend. Yeah, I think so.
Which we touched on. Was it because of the cup? They've obviously had a reset. They come out like an house on fire, 3-0 up inside 30 minutes. At MK Dons in absolute cruise control, and the red card plays no part because. Yeah, they just blew MK Dons away. Goals from Green, Cabia, Vernon, pick of the goals for me. But yeah, cruising, 3-0 up in 30 minutes. But like the Newport game against Bristol Rovers, they let them back in, especially with 10 men. It's absolutely madness. Credit to MK, they showed a little bit of fight, getting 2 goals back. But you feel the damage was done. Obviously, going down to 10 as well. It's a tall order. But yeah, Grimsby now up to 4th, and looking at 4th this season. Obviously, a little blip last week, but they've reset, and the word character comes into play again. And they've to go to MK Dons. I think with MK, I think their problem is this season. For me, they've spent a lot of money. They've put a target on the back, and for me, it's everyone's game that they want to go and put on a show. Obviously, the big fancy stadium. I know capacity is not there, but when you sign these sort of players like Aaron Collins, Patterson from my club, and Mendes, Lang, you're there to be shot at. And I think MK have got to up their levels to what they. Really, week in, week out, you've got to up the performances, and because teams are going to come there, especially to MK, and want to put on a show. And it's a big arena that you can play your football. It's not like a compact ground like your Bromleys and stuff like that. You can express yourself, and that's certainly what Grimsby did. Obviously, 30 minutes, 3-0 up. Yeah, it's absolutely dreamland. But yeah, it's a sticky period for MK. I expected this little blip that they're on to be at the start of the season, if I'm honest. Obviously, they started well and they scored a lot of goals, but it's come like a month later than what I expected. I expected them to sort of like ease the way into the season. I know it's always September, but yeah, when they've spent that money, you've for me,
we said it's got to be top 3. It has to be top 3 or it's failure.
It's got to be. Yeah, questions need to be asked if they don't get top three. For what they've spent. You'll remind me what Aaron Collins cost. It's absolute madness for League Two. And dread to imagine what Patterson and like Mendes Lang are on.
I've heard some rumours, but I don't know whether that was confidential information, so I'm not going to broadcast that on a live show. But yeah, I think back to your point, just looking at their fixtures, yeah, if you sort of flipped their first 3 games and their last 4, you'd go, all right, it's taken time for the new players to bed in. It's taken time for the players to adjust to Paul Ward. So if they'd gone, drawn with Crawley first day of the season, beaten Newport, lost to Walsall and MK Dons, and then beaten Cheltenham, Barrow, and drawn with Oldham, you'd be going, that's a fairly encouraging start. You know, lots of new signings. It's going to take time, but I think, like you said, it's the way they've just hit a bit of a wall, and it's come really early. They hadn't conceded a goal in their first 3 games. I think it was something like 8 clean sheets on the bounce back into last season under Warne, and then now they're shipping them freely, and only 4 points from the last 12.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the results now. So since obviously draw first day of the season, they won away at Barrow. Obviously, then it was the EFL Cup. 5-0 win at home to Cheltenham, and then the blips sort of come. You'd expect them to beat Crawley, but they didn't. A 1-1 draw. They then win away at Newport, and then a home defeat to Walsall. And then obviously Grimsby Saturday. So it's sort of that Crawley result that's sort of been the start of the blip. But yeah, like conceding 3 against Paul Warne outfit that you expect to not concede, because he always sets up to not concede. And when you look at when he got promoted with Rotherham and Derby, he always defends and goes for that clean sheet first and tries to nick a goal. And it's just weird. Like, I expected what they're doing now to be them first couple of games. It's going to be interesting.
It's also defeats against side that you probably say are going to be up there and around them. They got beat twice by what you'd potentially say is direct promotion rivals in Walsall and Grimsby, looking at the table at the moment.
Yeah, and you'd expect them to beat Cheltenham. Obviously, Oldham first day. I think they were lucky to be it, because I watched that. Oldham really played well. Barrow, you'd probably expect them to beat. So yeah, you're probably right there. Newport, you'd expect them to beat them. So yeah, they've had their acid test and failed.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that would be the concern for me at the moment. I know Jonathan is in the chat. He's just replied to someone else. So yeah, Jonathan, maybe if you could just post your thoughts on what you think at the moment and what's maybe not quite right. See what other... Oh, here we go, Jonathan. Yeah, Jonathan makes a good point as well, though. It is a marathon, not a sprint. We are 7 games in. Yeah, and we're not writing off MK Dons by any stretch of the imagination. And they've still got someone like Aaron Collins to come back in and that type of thing. And it's not like they weren't without chances. I think if Scott Hogan scores that early chance, it might have been a different sort of afternoon. But you simply can't be 3-0 down. And then, what did you make of the red card? Because there was a couple of dubious red cards this week. And this was a straight red, wasn't it, for John Mellish, because he sort of put his studs into the bloke's chest. But has the game gone a bit soft, or is that the right call?
Yeah, the game's definitely gone a little bit soft. I agree there's been I don't know what the other one was. I think it was a second yellow, but yeah, I mean, the commentator, he said it was a stamp. We'll probably touch on it a bit. Yeah, but game has gone soft. Obviously... raising, I think it opens it up when you raise your foot that high. I think that's where it's probably not helped him. But yeah, I agree. Tackling it's going to be a non-contact game soon.
Because if you're Paul Warne and John Mellish goes and that ball bounces up in the air and he doesn't challenge and they go through and score, you're going absolutely mental as a manager that your player's not going to try to challenge for the football. It's not. He can't just not put his foot where he thinks the ball is and preempt that the Grimsby player is going to try and chest it down. And I understand, before I get jumped on by Grimsby fans, that if it's on a Gillingham player and I'm in the ground, I'm probably shouting red card. I get that. But what I'm trying to do here is step back and do it as a neutral without the emotion involved and say that, where's Mellish meant to put his foot? It's not like he's kicked him in the face. I just think a yellow card would have sufficed, and then we get on with the game and we crack on. But
Yeah,
referees are under a lot of pressure these days with so many different rules. I can understand why they, and I'm not one for backing referees, but I can understand why that type of one they can get what we perceive to be wrong.
Yeah, and perhaps if it were a different referee, he'd see it different, where he'd see it maybe as a yellow card. But yeah, I don't see what else he could have done, if I'm honest. I mean, how was he supposed to challenge for it anyway?
Exactly, that's it. It's like if
Yeah,
the Grimsby player goes with his foot as well, and they just kick clash feet, then there's probably no drama. So Mellish can't read the mind of the Grimsby player and work out how he's going to try and attack the ball. But yeah, I think the other one was for Crawley's second yellow card, which they didn't look a lot in as well for Ryan Loft. Mind you, judging by the Crawley fans' reaction to that signing, I'm not sure they'll be too bothered that he's going to get suspended because I'm not sure
that would have won. That would have won our on about that second. Yeah, that was really soft. I don't know what he's done. It's just two players grappling for it and just. I mean, they're not even. The ball was just getting played down the line, wasn't it?
So yeah, ball down the channel, and they both put their arms up. Like I don't think Loft swung an arm or anything like that. Again, it seems really soft. Right, a few more comments, and then we get on with the classifieds, and then we're going to open up the chat to you people. So get your questions in once we've done goals and player of the week. Right, we need to get a move on. This has gone really quick tonight. Justin Richards, Gills fan. I was sat in front of the penalty incident. In real time, I thought it was definitely a spot kick, but once I saw it back, it was wrong. Very hard for the ref at that speed and from his angle. Maybe. Yeah, we're only going off the angle we can see it as. It's clearly that McCleary initiated the contact, but again, I'm not complaining. Dom, the Oldham fan, one thing I was expecting when coming up was a standard officiating to be a bit better, but it's just as bad in the EN National League, if not worse. You're not the first National League fan to say that, Dom, expecting it to be better, and it's actually got worse than the division below. Something has to be done. Yeah, maybe we'll have to do like a referees episode at some point when we're really, really bored.
We'll be here all night.
Just back to the Gills pen. Keeper made a rash decision, but never, ever a penalty. Hayden says, surely... No, where's it gone? Sorry. Oh, Gills going up. Hopefully. We just discussed that a little while back in the show, didn't we? Lee asked me. So where was the... There was a comment I just saw. Bear me 2 seconds.
49 watching. Please smash the like button.
Yeah, it was at 50, so keep pressing it, please. That would be absolutely brilliant. Luca Talks Don's just talking on the Grimsby game, says they're a team, Grimsby, that are carrying on from last season. Still talking about MK Don, so we'll let you guys chat amongst yourselves about that.
Who said Grimsby? I think they'll definitely be in the mix this season.
Yeah, they look really good, and they've given Artel time, haven't they? And they're starting to see the rewards for that as well.
Yeah.
He also says he thinks it was a red card for Mellish. He's not a defender. Ask Carl Alchemy. It doesn't matter whether he's a defender, though, Luca. It's the challenge for us doesn't warrant a straight red, I don't think. Like, where's he meant to put his foot? Like I've already said, if he doesn't go and attack the ball, he gets an absolute battering from his manager and you fans for not challenging. So, but we all see it different. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
And Jonathan says, welcome, Jonathan, to the chat. Good friend of both channels. And don't forget, go and subscribe to Lee's channels. And if you'd be so kind, press subscribe on mine while you're here. That'd be absolutely brilliant. Once Kane Wilson gets match fit and we find a left-back solution, we'll be absolutely fine. We have a huge target on our backs, but I believe we will get it right. Yeah, like you said, marathon, not a sprint. We're 7 games out of 46. It's about 10, 12% of a season. So nothing to worry about. Win at the weekend and you propel yourselves back into the top 7, don't you? Right, Lee, Vidi printer, and then goals and player of the week. Barnet 1, Shrewsbury Town 3. Mark Shelton's early strike was cancelled out by Danny Collins' own goal. And then goals for Hoivonen and Klukas wrapped up Salop's first victory of the season.
Did Klukas mean that, you think?
Absolutely not.
No. Did he? I'm glad you said that because I've watched it back a few times.
No, he's
just spanners it, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's absolutely. Yeah, he doesn't mean that at all. Absolutely not. But again, when you're down the bottom, you take it, don't you? So hopefully, from a Shrewsbury point of view, for their fans, they get up and running now. And obviously, Hoivonen, I can never pronounce his name, getting off the mark on debut is a really good sign for them as well, similar to Michael Mellon at Oldham. You know, Barrow 1, Swindon Town 3, goals for Dryan and Glatzel and Prince that surname.
Yeah.
Secured the points before Shipley pulled one back for the home side, but Swindon going along nicely. Cheltenham picked up their first victory of the season. Isaac Hutchinson free kick on debut against the still winless Accrington Stanley. There was then a 1-1 draw played out between Colchester United and Crewe Alexander. March for the Alex, and that was cancelled out by Kyrie's Lisby's second half header. Harrogate dropped to a third consecutive defeat, losing at home to Crawley Town. Courtesy of Reece Brown's decent effort. And then we've already mentioned Ryan Loft's soft red card in injury time. Notts County still continue to improve quietly. Matt Dennis's 6th goal of the season, I think, saw off Fleetwood by a 1-0. Then there was a 3-1 win for Salford against Tranmere Rovers. Luke Garbett from the spot, Cole Stockton and Osama Ashley goals. It was that man, Omari Patrick, in reply for the Super White Army. And the final game of the weekend was Walsall 1, Chesterfield 0, Canu for the home side, and a red card for Charlie Lakin again, which I thought was harsh. Stood on someone's foot. I don't think he's endangering him.
No.
Very strange decision. And these are decisions that further down the line, closer to the end of the season, can be absolutely huge in terms of being in the top 3, the top 7, staying above the line in terms of relegation. Something's got to be done, I think, but I think we've covered it anyway. So do you want to start with your goals of the week in reverse order?
Yeah, let me just get my little list up, jog my memory. 2 seconds.
No worries. I will do a few comments while you find them. David Ongley again says, Shrewsbury got a win, ? And a laughing emoji. Yes, they did. Barnett's problems from early in the season came back to haunt them in that one, my friend. Hayden again, wait, Salop won. What is going on? This is a good question. If anyone can help us out, I might be the only one, but what does SALOP stand for? I have absolutely no idea. Somebody Google that for us. That would be absolutely brilliant. In fact, David, you can Google it for us. And if you could let us know, that would be absolutely superb. Right, Lee, 3rd place, goal of the week.
Yeah, so my 3rd goal, Hutchinson for Cheltenham, winner. I believe it was in the 2nd minute, cracking free kick. Yeah, I love a free kick. I've not had one in there, so I've got to chuck a free kick in there. My 2nd goal was Vernem, Grimsby's 3rd goal. Wrapped up a fine afternoon for Grimsby, top corner, although didn't get pressed, allowed to creep in, and yeah, he's absolutely bent in. A cracking finish. And my 1st goal, Salford, 3rd goal, Ashley, neat build up, and the finish was unstoppable. Another cracking finish.
We've got 2 the same again.
So I tried to gauge your facial expressions as a
No. Poker face, mate. Poker face. 3rd place, I had Reece Brown for Crawley against Harrogate Town. I think that was to do with the fact it was a good goal, and also it meant a first win of the season for Crawley. Beat his man on the right inside before curling a cracking effort inside the far post for what proved to be the winner. In 2nd, I had Isaac Hutchinson's free kick. 2 minutes into your debut, cannot ask for a better start than that. And to pick up their first 3 points as well was the icing on the cake for Hutchinson, who I think, and I just want to touch on it briefly, I think him and his family were targeted by online abusers, certainly his wife, regarding something surrounding his move from Bristol Rovers, which is absolutely despicable. If you're doing that, then you just need to give your head a wobble. Like, I just don't understand how people are wired up. Really, really disgusting behaviour. And luckily it's been called out. And yeah, my winner was Charles Vernham, drop of the shoulder from the left touchline and then absolutely smashed it into the top corner. I liked Craig McGillivray, who'd made a couple of good saves in that, just watches it and goes, uh-oh.
Yeah,
he's to the top of the net.
Yeah, there's just no point diving for it.
No, he's gone there. Fair play, you can have that one.
Yeah. We're 3-0 down, you're having that one.
Osama Ashley was top of my honourable mentions. That was a really good goal. I like the 1-2 on that one. There was a really nice goal in the Grimsby game as well for Kieran Green, a team goal, and also Kai Whitmore, and that was a consolation as they ended up losing 3-2. But that was a really good chest down and volley from sort of 12 yards. So yeah, there was plenty to choose from this week. But yeah, along the same lines again, which is good. And then Lee, I'll come back to you, player of the week. Keep getting them questions in, people. We want just general questions for the last 15 minutes or 10 minutes of the show. And we do have an answer regarding Salop. So we will come to that in a minute, Lee, once we've done our player of the round.
Yeah, so my player is Grimsby Town's Charles Vernham. for that finish. But he also contributed in all 3 of the goals, directly involved, and then that finish. Yeah, it's pipped it for me. He's had a fantastic afternoon. That is for sure.
Yeah, he was right up there. I went for someone that I watched live. I went for Michael Cheek, who is just
I had a feeling you were going to.
Absolutely everything you want in a target, man. Like, forget his age. Like, he scored 25 goals last year. I think it was 9 assists. He's
How old
on
is
3
he?
already. 33, 34 now.
Yeah. So
He
can
might
you
get better
watch it?
in the division.
We've obviously, I think, our last seen him at Wembley when they got promoted.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's been 2 seasons now. Can you see him, that sort of player that can go at an higher level?
I think the only thing that stops him from going higher than League 2 is the fact that he's come into the Football League really late.
Yeah.
But you never know, if a team goes up in the League 1 that's not got loads of budget, they could take a chance for a year. I mean, like I say, he's got 3 already this season. He was an absolute menace for 90 minutes. He scored his goal. He set up the first goal. He's hit the post. He's had 2 off the line. He honestly could have had 4.
Yeah.
And he was just absolutely brilliant at leading the line. I've waxed lyrical about Sam Gale and Andy Smith so far for the Gills and how solid we are defensively. They got a lesson on Saturday afternoon, the pair of them, and it'll do them the world of good in the long run. They probably didn't think so at the time because they really struggled against him and Kabamba. But yeah, they were unplayable at times, and they play a huge part in how Bromley play and what they do really well. They played 90 minutes, a goal and assist, 46 touches, 3 key passes, 3 shots on target, 1 off the post, which classes off target, and 1 that was blocked on the line by Max Clark at 2-1 as well, which was ended up being a really, really important stop. So yeah, my player of the week was Michael Cheek, but yeah, got no arguments with Charles Vernham as well, who was absolutely superb all afternoon for the Mariners. Right, let's see what we've got. It is, Dom says it is a rearm for Shropshire, apparently. So there's one explanation. And then we've also got...
Salop is an old abbreviated name.
Oh, here we go. Go on. You've got it and all. Matt GFC 1977 might have used the same site as you.
Yeah, good old AI. That's what he'll used.
An old historical name for the English county of Shropshire.
Yeah, Anglo-French. Salop. I'm not even going to pronounce that.
Right, we've got about 8 minutes left on the show. So if we can have general questions regarding League 2, not geography and what things mean, because we're not very good at that. But yeah, if we can have your general questions in for the last 8 minutes, we will answer some questions. We've talked about referees this week. Troy Chapman says, just back to that, Salop is an old and official name for the English county of Shropshire, derived from the Anglo-French, that's the word you left, Salop Hesperia, which was the historical name for its county town. I'm still none the wiser, but thanks everyone for Googling. Neil says, do you still have the cat on your lap, Lee?
No, that cat's gone. So basically that come from when I used to be on 72 review. Looked like a Bond villain in this chair, doesn't I?
He's spinning around. Right. My wife's commented, are you nearly done yet? It's my birthday. No, I've got ages to go. I'm probably going to do an extended show tonight. I'm in trouble.
Just for your birthday. Happy birthday.
You leave your shed unlocked, Lee, because I'll probably be sleeping in there tonight. They're all fans, aren't they? They all want to get involved. The whole family wants to comment on the show. They keep telling me they don't like what I do. Belarus v Scotland, ZTE Arena. Everybody come in fancy dress as empty seats. I'm assuming there's not too many people in attendance. Neil says happy birthday to the wife. There you go. I shall pass on your best wishes. Thank you, Neil. Don't encourage her. Would you call Will Boyle signing for Shrewsbury a steal from Gills? No, absolutely not, Lee. What do you think about that? Like, I don't know, they made this big song and dance, didn't they, with the old sat-nav announcement video for Will Boyle. But no, we're top and they're what? Bottom 5? Absolutely not. They can have him.
Yeah, I never rated him anyway. I've seen him a few times at Rex, so I didn't. Yeah. No.
He was very good in this division for Cheltenham a few years ago, wasn't he? And don't get me wrong, if he'd signed, I wouldn't have been disappointed. He was the type of centre half I thought we needed at that stage of the summer, but I'm more than happy with what we've got. So,
yeah.
No, I don't think it's going to be an issue.
Dom
Ava said, "Happy birthday, Mum." Sorry, this is just turning into a family show here, which is. Sid's in. Evening, Sid. Evening from Spain. How are you, pal? Good to see you. What's that? The time difference made you late?
Too much sangria, mate. Put him down.
Fair play. Fair play.
Dom put very biased, but either Tom Pett or Luke Hannon, player of the week for him. Pett's first game back, and he ran his socks off. Hannett was everywhere and cleared one off the line. Some performance or both. I think we mentioned last week that Pett, I think he's a big miss for Oldham. He's busy, he gets about.
No coincidence that he comes back in and they keep a clean sheet and won a football match.
Exactly, yeah.
So they keep him fit, they'll be fine. Like I saying, if they can back up that win with another positive result next weekend, then you'll start to see them climb the table, won't you? So
I've got a question. I've got a question for the chat. So get in the comments. Who do you think will be? So I'm going to say league champions. I'm going to say top 3. Shall I say top 3?
Oh, he's going early. Game 7, and we're going early already on top 3.
You could sort
of yours then while they start typing. Tell us yours then while they type theirs.
Right, let me get the league table up because I think it's already changed.
Don't you dare put Gills in there.
I think it's sort of shaping like some sort of like the league table is who's going to be up there, but also who's going to be struggling down below.
I think it's easier down the bottom, isn't it? Just to change the subject a little bit, I think it's easier down the bottom to pick the teams that are going to be struggling.
Yeah, my top 3. I still think Chesterfield will win it. I think Grimsby will finish 2nd. And 3rd, little drum roll, Gillingham.
Bastard. I hope to God you're right. I really do. If any of them top 3 spaces would be absolutely brilliant. I know Wembley's great, but if you're a fan of any of them teams, you just feel ill for the entire playoff program, don't you? So I'm going to sit on the fence and not answer it at the moment. That was your question, so you can take all the flack when it all goes wrong for the teams that you've just picked up. Neil says, evening to Sid. SBR19, best Gills player in the Bromley game. For me, I thought Ethan Coleman was really good until he came off. Aside from that, probably Max Clark or Josh Andrews. Gary says, do you think Gills get caught out defensively again, since without Masterson, they're quite a young back 3? I don't personally, Gary. I don't know what Lee thinks, because Masterson's not played since the first home game. So that was 9th of August. You've got to go all the way to week 2. And we've been super solid aside from then. I just think it was one of them afternoons where number 1, Kabamba and Cheek were right at it, and number 2, Smith and Gale were not quite at it, and that can happen. But no, I don't think we've got any longer term issues. And don't forget, we've got Travis Ackermere comes into the mix now. No, he's young as well, so we've got decent options. We could go to a back 4 as well now because of the fact that we've signed wingers. But Lee, how do you see defensively Gills moving forward? I don't see an issue at all, just based on one game.
No, and obviously we watched them live at Oldham. I thought he was solid. Yeah, they had chances, but yeah, defensively, he's always going to set up to be defensively and sound and solid. It's what he did at Wickham so well, and yeah, I don't see an issue. That is for sure. And you have to remember that Bromley are also undefeated, and it's a tough place to go. So to concede 2, but also, it's nothing to be worried about. That's for sure. You aren't going to keep clean sheets all the time anyway. It's just about, obviously, just being in there and being in the mix, but also scoring. And what you are doing is players are chipping in. You're not relying on certain players to score, are you?
No, I think now it's sort of, in terms of the strikers at the club, I think it's only Nevitt that we're waiting to get off the mark. Wiley's got 1 in the league, 1 in the league trophy. Josh got off the mark at the weekend. Vokes's off the mark. Still haven't seen Seb Palmer Holden. So there's plenty to be encouraged about that way. But no, defensively, I think we're fine. Just back to Dom's comment about Tom Pett. Just going to have a look at his stats. 90 minutes played, 47 touches, 63% pass completion. He won 6 out of 9 ground duels. Committed no fouls, 1, 2 free kicks. There was 2 clearances, 2 interceptions and 3 tackles. Yeah, so all action display from Tom Pett, and I think, yeah, he'd be a crucial player for Oldham moving forward. Right, we're into the last knock-ins of this fixture. Thomas Hill says, don't think Accrington looked too bad when they played Gills. Any ideas why they are in a relegation trouble at the minute? We've mentioned this already, haven't we, mate? They don't score enough. They've got 1 goal scorer in the league, and we're in the nearly second week of September. At the moment, if Tyler Walton doesn't score, they don't score.
Yeah, you can't just rely on one player. And obviously, you can play all the nice football and look good and create chances. Don't mean out if you're not putting in the back of the net.
No, I'm just looking at their team Saturday. It looks like they changed it up and played him off the side to accommodate Paddy Madden, which I find a little bit weird. I get Madden's good at the level, but if you've only got 1 goal scorer, surely you're playing him his best position, which is up front, where he scored 3 goals from this season. So, yeah, we got a little bit of stick from, or I certainly did on my season preview from Accrington fans. But, yeah, it looks like it's going to be a long, hard slog for them this season. Right,
I think if you spoke to a guy who was an Accrington fan, and he mentioned it last season that he thought that already next season it'll be a struggle because he could see the writing on the wall type thing.
Yeah, and their trajectory since they were in League One is just one way, isn't it? I think they were mid-table League One, then 17th or 18th, then they got relegated, then they went sort of 17th, 20th in this division. So you can't argue against that, can you? You're looking at facts there. That's not opinion. That's facts that they dropped every season over the last 5 years. So if they drop a couple of places again, then they're banging trouble. Matt GFC 1977 just says Gills 4, Notts County 0. I'm not giving anything away for that. Obviously, there will be a match preview. Andy Burns, in answer to your question, Lee, short and to the point, no idea at this point. Gary has said Grimsby, Gills, Swindon, not in that order necessarily. I would take that. If Gillingham don't lose against Notts County, then we play Newport to go 21 in a row. 21 unbeaten, I think it is, mate. Yeah, of course, we sound like the Undertaker, don't we?
So is that what it is? 21 unbeaten?
I think if we don't lose this week, we'll be aiming for 21. I think it's 18 or 19 now, yeah, going back to. So, because we haven't lost under Ainsworth, and he took over in March. It's over 6 months since we lost a league game. So, apologies in advance, Gills fans, if we now get beat home to Notts County. But, yeah, it's been a phenomenal run. Like, I think it's something like 8 draws, 8 wins, 9 draws, or something ridiculous. It's promotion form. Right, last couple of predictions, then I'm going to have to blow full time. SBR 19 says first Grimsby, second Swindon, third Gillingham. Neil the Bradford fan says champions Gills, MK Dons and Grimsby to join them. Aidan says MK, Grimsby and Gills. I think Swindon will do a Gills. I assume he means they'll just fall off the edge of a cliff. I'm not so sure. I think they're well set up. Dom has gone for MK, Swindon and Grimsby in no particular order. David Ongley says Gills as champions, Swindon and Grimsby as quite a pattern here. We're seeing a lot of them 3 clubs, aren't we? Not so many MK Dons, which is interesting based on what surely will be a blip. Surprised Chesterfield not in many. Not seen Chesterfield mentioned at all. You've got them as champs, haven't you, or runners up?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with him because I think that's who I predicted at the start of the season. We are doing my predictions, but with my list, I had them, and yeah, I think they're just having a little blip at the moment. But still 7th, probably 2 points off the top. I know to talk about league positions this early on, but it's always interesting. But yeah, I'm just going to stick with him. I think under Cookie, I think they'll certainly be in that mix, that is for sure.
Yeah, my top 3 at the start of the season was MK Dons, Chesterfield and Bristol Rovers. So I'm not going to go away from that just yet. I had Swindon, Gills and Grimsby all in the playoffs. So not a million miles away from what everyone else is saying at the moment. Hayden's enjoying himself. He says, please don't end the stream. Are you trying to get me divorced, friend?
I think what I can look at the league table, obviously you're top, but I'd say right down to maybe I'd say 10th in Nottingham. I know they've picked up. It was a struggle at the start, but I think they're going to be. It's going to be interesting, that playoff picture as well, because I think there's a good that you can all like make a case for, can't you?
Absolutely, yeah. Like we said, it's 7 games out of 46. There's another transfer window to come. People are going to get injuries. People are going to get suspended. It all changes really quickly at this stage of the season, doesn't it? I think like before kickoff on Saturday, because we were the late one, we were down to 5th, and then we were there after 15 minutes, and then a draw takes you to the top. So it's that tight at the moment. Gary, just in relation to Gills, says fair point about Masterson, forgot he'd been missing for that long. SBR19 says the next stream will be on his birthday. Let us know next week, mate. We'll wish you happy birthday. Lee, any other business before we blow full time?
No. Just thank you everyone for joining us. It's much appreciated.
45 now, which is brilliant.
Yeah, amazing numbers. Like I say, it's something we enjoy doing for a Monday night. Nice steady hour just to go through the League Two fixtures, and it's always enjoyable for you guys to get involved because you're always very active in the chat. So it's brilliant.
Yeah, and exactly the same from me. As we've said plenty of times, it's just us two talking to each other without you sending in your comments and your questions and your opinions and all that type of thing. Apologies for the delay at the start. We did have some technical gremlins. As you can see, the background has disappeared. The introduction video disappeared for some reason. The joys of modern technology. Yes, he's been Lee. I'm Matt. This has been the League 2 Hour. We'll be back next Monday at 7 p.m. for more action, and I will leave you with Gary's comment, which is that one. See you all next week, guys.
See you later.